You know, the Rock and Wrestling Connection actually got its start on a little segment called Piper's Pit. That's right. Right now, I want to introduce its host, the always entertaining and controversial Rowdy Roddy Piper.
How you doing? Oh, you like my family, man? Holy cow. Well, it was the last one they had. What do you think? And I got it for half off. Looks good on me, right? Look terrible on you. Hi. WrestleMania 26, can you believe that, man? Holy cow. I was there when it didn't have a number. Some kid this afternoon said to me, "How long have you been wrestling?" I said, "I was wrestling when the Dead Sea was just sick." Mad Dog Vachon. I lived with him for 2 years. I got a reason for being like this. '80s was a wild ride, so they tell me. It was a time of feminists also, which I didn't appreciate until I had my 3 daughters. You had to be tough in the 80s. You had to do things like date moolah and live. I did. I remember the first time Madison Square Garden, like the first WrestleMania, you gotta understand, it was MTV, and their first big extravaganza with the WWE and all the rock and wrestling people, and like, you know, I was in the ring and there was Mr. T. I love him. I knocked him out. Hogan. Knocked him out. I saw something come under the rope. I turned and kicked. It was Cyndi Lauper. I kick a girl that just wants to have fun. That's my luck, man. I just made that up. Yes. Yeah. Back then, you know, with MTV and the feathers in the hair and the women's movement, like they had Dr. Ruth Westheimer, who was down on my case, and Roddy Piper's just wearing a kilt to get sex, you know. What's the problem? Geraldine Ferrara is running for vice president of the United States. Piper, you're not fit to wear a dress. What's the problem? It's a kilt. Just making this up. And then comes Wendi Richter. Look out, baby. I always had a crush on Wendi Richter. Yeah, I did, man. You got a problem with that? She's cool. She'd come in the garden, because of Cyndi Lauper, she'd have all the feathers, and I'd come in, and there would Wendi Richter with all the feathers in her hair and the Gloria Steinem bra, and Liberace to the next of her. It was the same outfit. I'm going to get fired for that one, too. Wendy had a way of bringing a certain amount of class to not only the NWA, where I first met her, but the WWE. And I had the pleasure of, after I kicked Cindy, she chased me around the dressing room for a while. I let her catch me. It was rough, but it was fun. And one time, the Rock and Wrestling, I hated that damn cartoon. I tell you why, because like one time they had me in a knight's outfit with armor on, and I'm on the horse, and I'm jousting somebody else, and they beat me. And it's Wendi Richter. She's been 5 times lady champion. I ain't been nothing. It's okay, I want to be Wendi Richter someday. She always gave so much, not only in the ring, but out of the ring. As a lady that would go and visit hospitals, and like she was a true lady when she was in the dressing room, and inside the ring she was a fierce competitor that would give everything for the fans all the time. And I'm really proud, you know, if you're going to induct somebody into the 2010 Hall of Fame, I'd like to induct a lady. And tonight, I give you the Sandra Bullock of wrestling, the gal that you just want to bring home and introduce to Ma. 160 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal, ladies and gentlemen, Wendi Richter.
Remind me to pay you for that intro after the show. He's got the best mouth in the business. No, seriously, this is the ultimate dream. This is what every wrestler wants to achieve, that someday they will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Nothing takes the place of the roar of the popcorn and the smell of the crowd. I'm honored and I'm so humbled to be here tonight. And I have to say, it's about damn time. That's right. I'll try to be serious and not bloviate. The first match I ever watched, a friend of mine, we were both around 17, she wanted me to take her to the wrestling matches because I had a car and she didn't. And I really didn't want to go because at that time, the wrestlers I saw on television as I was flipping through the channels had big beer bellies and were barking out these interviews, and it really didn't appeal to me, but I agreed to go with her. And I'm so glad I did, because the first match I ever watched, it was Destiny. It was the women's championship match that night, and it was in Shreveport, Louisiana. It was the fabulous Moolah and Vivian St. John. Vivian St. John was about 6'2", and Moolah was about 5'6". I was mesmerized. And until that time, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And as I watched the match, I told my friend, I could do that. I know I could, and I think I could beat Moolah. And I did 4 years later in '84 in Madison Square Garden. Thank you. And as I watched the wrestling matches, I eventually built up the courage and asked the referee, Sputnik Monroe, how could I go about getting into wrestling? And he tried to discourage me, but I didn't listen to what he said because I knew I wanted to follow my dream, and that was to become a professional wrestler. I knew if I didn't follow my dream, I would always wonder, where would I be now? How would my life be different? This Hall of Fame honor is possible because I wrestled the very best wrestlers of all time. And that would be the fabulous Moolah, Joyce Grable, Judy Martin, Leilani Kai, Velvet McIntyre, Princess Victoria. These were wonderful wrestlers, and they helped train me by wrestling them. There's no better training than in the ring. But probably my most profound experience was in Japan, because my first 2 years in wrestling, I was on 5 two-month tours in Japan. And the first match I ever had, the girl knocked the breath out of me 6 times. I'm not kidding. And the referee was an American referee. He only lasted 2 weeks and he went home. But he kept saying, "Wendy, are you okay?" And all I could say was, "Oh." I couldn't even speak. And I knew that night I had to change my wrestling style. I'd only been wrestling 6 months. I really wasn't prepared for Japan. Joyce Grable was supposed to go, but she had her appendix taken out. So she took my slot, and I went to Japan. And I couldn't leave. They took my plane ticket. They took my boarding pass. They took my passport. I was stuck there. But I was able to harness the Japanese wrestling style technology and use that in American wrestling. And that helped make me the wrestler that I am today. I was considered a rough baby face. I could fight fire with fire, and I greatly owe that to the Japanese wrestlers. That's probably why they call me Wendy, because the breath was knocked out of me so many times. But I feel what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And tonight I would really like to thank my fans for standing behind me 25 years in wrestling. And I'd also like to thank Cyndi Lauper, who's a friend of mine. She helped me tremendously. She skyrocketed my career. Overnight, I was a household name. I could never thank her enough. Thank you, Cyndi. But you know, all I ever really wanted was respect. And I feel like I have that tonight, and I thank you so much. Thank you. I always felt like a woman wrestler had to work twice as hard to receive half the recognition and half the pay as a male wrestler. And I feel so honored to help pave the way for today's women wrestlers. Did you all know there's a place where you could touch a woman that will drive her wild? Do you all know where that is? It's her heart. And you've touched mine here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. And I'd like to leave you with this message. Girls just want to have fun.